I wouldn't, Ryan, McConnell, all right, Schumer, I would not be surprised if they were.
Let's get one thing off though. I don't like Ryan, but I do not believe he's racist in the slightest.
And why is that?
I mean, there's no evidence to support.
You just assume because of the color of his skin.
You assume that, like, you just assume that white people in power are racist, and I feel like you're making assumptions. What evidence do you have that he may be a racist?
I said that I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, but you're just assuming that he probably is.
Okay, well, for one, he did support Donald Trump. Okay.
Does that make someone racist?
And
I support Donald Trump.
I think Donald
Trump, and he's very close friends with him personally. All these politicians, regardless of party, these people are still friends, and they're all in the same system.
If you're friends with a racist, that means you're a racist.
And
I would say,
are we assuming that Donald Trump's racist?
Yeah.
I would say that I would not be surprised if Donald Trump was racist.
You can't just keep picking. You can't just sit on the fence on every single issue.
I am a centrist.
You're saying guilty until proven innocent.
Exactly. That's not the cornerstones our country was built on.
You'll figure it out once those tapes of On The Apprentice where he said the N-word.
Right.
Okay, you'll figure out those. And Lil Jon said himself that Donald Trump on The Apprentice called him Uncle Tom. Okay, that's all I'm saying on that issue. All right. They also said that at one of his rallies, and I've heard it, he said the term "wetback." But I'm not going to go into details about Donald Trump.
Is the term "wetback" really racist though? I know it's classified as like a slang usually used against Mexicans, but isn't it really illegal people? Isn't it just really illegal immigrants? Does that really make it a racial slur? It's definitely a slur, but.
Well, when it's directed by certain people at a certain group, I would say that yes, that is racist.
Canadians be called wetback.
But he didn't call Canadians wetback.
But I could call a Canadian a wetback in the country.
I mean, I haven't heard of any major immigration coming down from, Canada, have I? No. I've heard it coming over the border, so that's why he called it
caravan.
That's why he
just
called
a bunch of lumberjacks.
So,
watching down.
I mean, they're happy with their country. Clearly, the Southern is not, but that's a different conversation there.
So we were talking about prison, and we got into
the system. The system.
So let's swing back into a different police topic. Let's talk about
body cameras.
Body cams. Yes.
So this also goes back to the whole Black Lives Matter, and this whole issue kind of stemmed from the Black Lives Matter debate. And people were saying, and I think pretty much all sides could agree that if the police wore body cameras, there'd be no need for organizations such as Black Lives Matter, because we'd be able to see any racial discrepancies.
But to have body cams, we would need to increase police funding, which
I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, Black Lives Matter wants them to have body cams, but advocates for them to have less funding, for less militarization of the police.
Yeah, I believe that the whole militarization of police is BS in general.
Exactly. It's like if the National Guard is retiring an old if the National Guard is retiring like an old like transport vehicle and they give it to the police because they have no use for it and they outfit it for civilian situations, it's cheaper than buying a whole new one.
It's better for everyone.
Exactly.
It's recycling, literally.
Like in our current town, like our police, since we live in such a small population town, like they have, like some police have body cams, but they can't afford everything. Like most of them have to buy their own tourniquets and their own gloves and stuff. Like
I believe that we need to. That's one of the few things. I'm all for tax cuts, but one of the few things we do need to increase is police spending. Like cut military spending. That's one of the biggest things that gets me upset. No, because. Like I said, that's the one thing I don't agree with the Republican Party. We put so much on our military, so much spending on our military. For what? So we can fight another war in the Middle East?
It's the ultimate deterrent.
The ultimate deterrent. It's
well,
not. We have nuclear weapons. What do we need? If we get into a major war,
okay, we gotta think about it like this.
There will be no troops on the back.
We're the only major power in North America. Europe's got all their major powers, and Asia's got all their major powers.
So what threats do we have?
In Asia and Europe.
Okay, but if a modern war, if we had another great war like World War III, theoretically, there would be no boots on the ground. It would just be a series of nuclear detonations that would lead to everyone dying.
So
There's no need for a military. There's no need for a large military in today's era.
What if every government actually followed the Geneva Convention?
The Geneva Conventions are a joke. No one's going to follow that.
If they do, okay, so you're saying that no country's going to follow it?
It's always been a joke. Since its creation,
since the 1700s.
No one's going to really follow the Geneva Convention. None of the Geneva Conventions, even the ones that were held after World War I, those haven't been followed, and they won't be followed. Because if you're a country with a disadvantage, of course you're going to use whatever dirty means necessary to win. And if the U.S., I guarantee you, if the U.S. went to war with Russia, there would hardly be any soldiers deployed. It would be nuclear missiles straight away.
I think that would actually be the last option. I don't think that they would want that to happen because then everyone's really done.
No one can win though. Because if the U.S. does put boots on the ground, let's say they march all the way to Moscow, and Russia's about to give up. Of course, what's the last thing Russia's going to do before they're invaded by the U.S., before the U.S. wins the war?
Well, I
They're
know
gonna
that
press
we
the
can
buttons.
stop that before it happens
And
stop somebody from doing that.
But we
This
can't.
very
They have
hypothetical
hidden nuclear silos
situation.
everywhere. So do we. Nuclear bombs have destroyed the need for a large military.
Okay, then so you don't like military spending because you don't.
No,
you think
I don't agree with the rate that we're spending on the military. I believe that we do need a military, and we do need a strong military, but I believe that we are spending too much on the military when we could be taking away some of that money to fix on our national debt.
We have a bunch of. Okay.
The U.S. hasn't acted on a surplus for almost 100 years. The U.S. hasn't had more money, hasn't had like a positive amount of money. Yeah, we've been in debt for almost 100 years.
No,
There was a time and point where we had more money.
But Eisenhower, Mr. I love him.
Well, Eisenhower was a great president, but let's get into that on a different day.
That'd be a good video. Our favorite presidents.
Yeah.
I mean, bring out who's on.
But I feel like
I
that
gotta go with Polk.
we can't. All right, if you feel like nuclear warfare is just a terrible idea, then maybe we should start going with, all right, let's cut back on that and let's try to convince other nations.
It's not going to work
Wait,
though. We're getting off topic again.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what were you talking about?
We were talking about
Body
body
cameras.
cameras. We keep getting off topic.
Alright.
We had enough
So-
of nuclear war.
So, I believe that we should give all police officers body cam by increasing police spending.
But that goes back. Where are we going to take that spending from?
Social, what do you believe?
Social.
Yeah, social spending.
Although I believe that we're spending too much on social, I believe that there's other ways, other places where we can take that money from.
But we don't do welfare.
Okay. Well, that's your plan. You would increase police spending through cutting social welfare spending. I would increase it by cutting military spending. And do you believe that police spending should be increased or cut?
Well, first to start off with, I don't think that body cameras, as of right now, should be enforced on every police officer. I feel like body cameras, once it becomes an even huger problem than it is right now, then it should be, established. But I think that they should take a book from the Republican Party just because, there's not a whole lot of African American Republicans compared to Democratic African Americans. I think they should take a page from their book and start carrying guns on them. All right. So just in case you're in that type of situation and you feel like you're in it, then you can be able to protect yourself in that kind of situation.
Protect yourself from the police?
Yes. If a police pulls a gun out on me because my blinker's out, then
You're gonna pull a gun on a police officer.
I'm gonna pull a gun out on a police officer.
That
You
sounds
do
like
it.
the stupidest idea
Yeah,
ever.
I
Because
feel like-
no matter
Alright,
what,
they are okay,
no matter what,
police represent
it's a
the government.
lose-lose. If you shoot that cop and there's no evidence saying that he was being aggressive to you, you get arrested. You get locked up for killing a police officer. If he does shoot you, you're dead. There's no, like,
Well,
you can't win
that's
from
not
pulling a
saying
gun.
that he's gonna shoot me right directly in my head or heart. I don't think that they do that. I think they
If
just
you
do
have
it
a
to
gun,
restrain
you
you.
probably shoot to kill.
I mean,
All right. Okay then. The police represent the government.
of course, it is, yep.
If the government is questioned, if you feel threatened by the government, you do not have the right to attack the government.
We do have the right.
Yeah, in a malicious sense, but not in the sense of I can shoot a cop if he's shooting at
Well,
me.
you were very, non-specific when you said that.
Okay, I was
So-
too vague, yes. Okay, let me say, I got fun. Okay, here's how I'm gonna phrase this. When a cop pulls you over, they're the ones that are in charge of you in that moment. Like, you have to listen to them, no matter what. If what they say, you have to do.
There's a lot of crazy people out there that don't listen to them in that situation.
Yes.
So are you one of them? Is that what you're saying?
I'm just saying that I think things should be looked over, and if I feel like I'm a threat, maybe I should be able to shoot back or fight back.
I think on that note, we're gonna have to wrap it up. Anyone has any last things they want to say?
Blue Lives Matter.
Do you still feel the same way about police and Black Lives Matter as you did coming into this?
Yeah, for sure. I don't think that my views, changed at all. I feel like everything I said was accurate in my mind, but that's me.
I feel like I still remain sort of, I'm against the continued imprisonment of people. That's unnecessary. But I do feel the same way about Black Lives Matter, Blue Lives Matter, that there's bad people and great people on both sides. And Adrian, I'm assuming that you still feel the same way, judging from you saying.
But not about I kind of lenient on the, whole ounce of weed, 10 years of prison.
Well, maybe we can expand on that in a future episode about just drugs.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'd like to thank you all for joining us today,
Thank you.
and we'll see you next time.
All right.